I read what I see, dude. So I need you to fucking like steer me in the right direction, dude.
He's like Ron Burgundy in the teleprompter. It's like, you know,
I am Jeremiah.
I am Jeremiah? Question mark. With that, welcome back to season 7 of 3.5 Gentlemen, the podcast, where 3 of the 4 hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies and TV shows from our private collections, while one of us tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my fellow pilgrims in an unholy new land, Jeremiah.
I am 4 and 10, and I will wither in my father's attic, yo.
Eddie.
Fulfill the pact, and the plague will stop.
And Brandon.
Evil stalks this land.
Oh, what an accent. I love that. That was good. That was good, Brandon.
Stalks this land.
Oh, we got Sean Connery here.
Oh, okay. Sean's alive.
As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question. How many drinks does it take to get through this TV episode we just watched? Nice. At the end of the podcast, we'll rate the episode based on a scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being a perfect episode that you can watch stone cold sober, and 5 being sort of the episode that makes you feel like you got buried alive, which is terrifying.
I could not. I mean, of all the things,
You'll kill them all.
there's
You
two.
kill them all.
There's only 2 or 3 ways that I feel like I would hate death.
Fire?
Number one is to drown in no. Drown in a vat of banana pudding. That's number 1 on my list. Has always been. Always 100%.
That fucking came out of right field.
He doesn't like bananas.
No, I don't like bananas.
Oh,
so
okay.
Could you imagine drowning in a vat of the thing you hate most, like smelling? Anyway, number 2 is certainly being buried alive, but buried alive like in a coffin.
That's my number 1.
Oh man. The third is being ripped apart by Jurassic by T-Rexes like Eddie in Lost World. Just one gets the legs, one gets the head, and can't deal with that one either.
I'd rather have that than actually being eaten alive when I'm taking a shit by a dinosaur in part 1.
No, that was quick. It was,
he got chomped in half.
Gennaro went quick. He went quick.
Yeah.
He went quick. I think his name was Gennaro, wasn't it? Gennaro.
Hey,
I think
his
name
pants was
Gennaro.
down his ankles. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. Was he shitting or did he go in there to hide? Because I got the impression that he went in there to hide. So why were his pants around his ankles?
Because he was scared shit.
He just went to take...
He shit his pants. There we go.
I've watched Kill Bill, and I don't think I can be buried alive. I'll do the whole...
Hey.
I'll do, but that would suck to die that way, because like that's just, you would die from just that.
Okay.
Listeners, you probably don't know it, but we're talking about the TV show Widow's Bay, which follows the eerie events that happen on a remote New England island. Not a remote and New England island, but I guess let's go for it. Episode 6, titled Our History, takes us back in time to the 18th century, where we see the evil of the town centered around the newly arrived Sarah Westcott, who has come to the island to marry the first mayor, Richard Warren, who is kind of a dick.
Woo.
Get it? Because
I don't think so.
Because his name's Richard.
Oh, good job.
So anyways, please make sure to check out our social media pages, including Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok, where you can find out about past and upcoming episodes, movie posters, trailer, clips, and much, much more like this stuff.
Well, with that being said, let's talk about the fact that I was wrong 2 episodes ago. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I said season 2 is going to start in the olden times, and I was so excited for that. And guess what? I only had to wait 2 more episodes. Now, in case you guys have a small short recollection of what transpired last episode, last week, Jeremiah decided to go all Kung Fu Master on us and hate us from the depths of his soul because we did not like that episode. Now, I'm gonna settle this before we even start this episode to tell you, Jeremiah, between you and me, I fucking love this episode.
Let me just say, so a lot of shows do flashback episodes, and I love a flashback episode, but it really is a true flashback episode where it's flashing from the current to the past, and we're not really going to flash forward very much. If anything, I don't think they make one flash at all. It just comes at the very end that they flash forward, but I love that we get to see it from the perspective of the 1700s. First of all, I think that we haven't talked about this enough about in this show, is that the production design, the quality of the costumes, the quality of the sets, I think are really good. They feel very authentic. I like the look and feel of the show. I talked a little bit last episode about the artwork that's being produced on behalf of Apple TV about this show. I think that they're really spending some time and energy in developing the feel of this show. And we definitely get transported back into the 1700s in Widow's Bay, and we get to kind of see what the hell's going on. And I think that, Jeremiah, I know you've got thoughts about this, so let's start with
Jeremiah. Jeremiah, does this not have the Robert Eggers witch vibe? I mean, didn't you get that feel from it?
Well, first and foremost, shout out to the director, Ty West, who actually directed this episode. He's one of my favorite horror directors, from House of the Devil to the X trilogy, X Pearl, and Maxine.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Yeah, his touch on this episode just has like this weird atmosphere to it.
I can see that now, actually.
Agree with you 100% what you guys are saying. This episode, it takes a lot of courage to like shift everything from the series to stand on its own. I mean, Yellowstone creates TV shows like this, right? It has its own origins and stuff like that. This could have been its own show if you decided to move forward on that, and I would have been 100% behind it because, like you said, like a Robert Eggers type of vibe, and I loved every minute of this episode.
It made me also feel like shit. Like, I know she's jumping on the island to marry Richard Warren, but I was like, oh, like you were saying, Jeremy, like this, honestly, like I was intrigued. Like, well, what was happening on this island before she got there? Like,
exactly.
Like who else was dying? And I almost wanted to see how Richard Warren made this pact with the devil, and like what
did he though? We don't know if he did, Eddie. We don't know.
Dude, she walked in on him doing like some weird voodoo shit. He's like, walk away. And then she continued. It was weird.
He had stigmata. On his hands. So here's the interesting thing. And I know we're jumping around, but we do this all the time. So let's just fucking do it. Is that it's set up completely as if Richard Warren is in league with Satan or some kind of evil, whether it's the island or if it's a demon or whatever it is, right? But then we flash to the end where Richard is getting buried alive, and we have this kind of, I don't know, I had this feeling like, ooh, maybe this whole time he is on the side of good. Maybe he is the one who is being misunderstood because he is trying to actually bring peace and salvation to the island, with him being so upset about his kids leaving because he basically says you've killed them now. So I don't know. I'm just trying to get where you guys are at least, where we're at this point in the show without having seen anything further. Where do you guys see Richard Warren fitting into the mythos of the island?
First of all, before we get into that question, which I think is an outstanding question, I do want to just give praise to Hermish Linklater, or whatever his last name is. He is one of my favorite actors. The guy who plays Richard Warren. He is such a charismatic and dynamic actor. So he has definitely created these personas, these characters. And I think this particular character, as Brandon said, it is unclear which side he's on, which a morally ambivalent character creates interest, right? It creates interest in the history of Widow's Bay. Is he really on the side of darkness trying to destroy, or is he on the side of goodness trying to preserve? We don't really know, and by the end of the episode, it's not really clear which side he's on, but it is clear that this actor, and I think a lot of the actors in this show are bringing their A games. I think Stephen Root is bringing his A game. I think the girl who plays Penelope, no, what's her name?
Patricia.
Damn it. Patricia is bringing her A game. And I just want to point out the acting in this show is fucking phenomenal. And I think Apple TV deserves a reward for this one. This one's very good. Jeremiah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to actually add another thing about Linklater. He's like one of my favorite actors, and this role that he's playing almost is a kind of like an awesome nod to the role he played as a church leader in Mike Flanagan's TV series called Midnight Mass.
So good. Midnight Mass. He was so good.
He's so fucking good in that. So it was really kind of like, oh, of course he is the leader here on this island. I'm kind of with you guys. It's like he made the deal with the devil, but he is regretting that deal because he's only doing it to make sure that the people survive on the island, but it's almost like he's sacrificing people for that, what he needs to do there. So
I feel like the idea, what he's the mayor and he's taking this seriously. He's like the sacrifice of a few to save the majority, right? And so his eyes is, and everyone, I'm confused. Is that the plague? So everyone thinks it's the plague, but overall he's sacrificing people, maybe, and that's what he's doing with his nightly witchcraft, where he told his newly wife, like, "Hey, go. I'm picking somebody right now,"
Yeah.
and he's like doing that. But overall, in the very end of the episode, when he was screaming, when he was getting buried alive, "You'll kill them all! You'll kill them all! They can't leave the island." You get the idea of it's like a Lost episode. It's I got a lot of Lost vibes. Yeah, we have to go back. I got a lot of Lost vibes.
Couldn't agree
in
with
this
you
episode.
more. Couldn't agree with you
I
more.
just want to throw that out there. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about this real quick, is that, we're talking about Linklater and we're praising him, and absolutely 100% we need to be praising him. But I really want to talk about Betty Gilpin. I had to go look it up real quick.
Good job.
Plays Sarah Warren. And we talked about this a little bit last week, where I felt the episode really kind of strayed, is because of the perspective that we got, right? It was just completely from Tom's perspective. I thought that this returned us with this episode. It returned us back to what we had with episodes 1 through 4, which is definitely we're seeing things from a character's perspective. Normally it's Tom's, but with this one, it's Sarah, right? But we also get kind of an understanding of the other characters. It's not just so solely through their, the singular eyes. Now, that being said, I think Sarah Westcott Warren, as a character, was absolutely perfect. It was perfectly written, and it was perfectly played, where you have this actor who embodies this excitement, but also kind of this remorse, because she realizes that she's married at an old age, and people are like, basically, you shouldn't be married. You should just kind of be a spinster. And I kind of reserved myself to being a spinster, but here I am getting married. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, there's something going on. I thought that she was such a good character, and she was so well played. And I just want to throw out kind of what were your thoughts as far as the way that she portrayed that character? Were you happy with it? Were you not happy with it? Jeremiah.
Betty's a fucking rock star. I mean, that was one of the best performances of this series so far. I feel like episode 5 gave a layup for this episode, because it gave us breadcrumbs about her, this character, Sarah, like the clues, and like she's literally writing this like in her journal as we're watching this whole time. So Betty is a fantastic actress. If you ever watch Glow, she's one of the main actresses in that series from Netflix. But
that's where I've seen her. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I've seen her, and it's like
good,
that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, she's amazing on that TV show with Glow, but Betty is so good in this episode. I wouldn't be surprised if she got nominated for an Emmy for Best Guest Supporting Actor. I mean, because I could watch this series. I could watch her being in another show, or like a sister show of Widow's Bay, 1702, and I could watch her just do this whole thing, because I thought it was so fucking great. Eddie.
With her writing her diary, she is really putting all her hopes in this marriage, just to like, and then he has 4 kids. And so she's like going in there, and she wants little like clues, like, hey, is he a good man? Is he this? Is he that? And she hasn't seen him once. And there was one thing that the pastor says, like, oh, well, like, you got your hands full, or something that it made. And I was like, oh shit, But before that, everyone, like, there was almost like a good couple of compliments. Oh, he's the mayor, and you're good. Mm-hmm. But then, when they're at the wedding, you get this first look of her looking at him, is like, oh, he's like good looking, and she was excited. The wedding night it said it all. It set the tone of like, hey, go to bed. And he says like, it's my wedding night. He's like, good night, go to bed. Mm-hmm. And he just like, oh, and she got super scared, and she was at the corner of the bed and room, or the stairs, and she was so scared.
Well, we also have to have this feeling of like Sister Maria meet, in Sound of Music, where she's meeting the character or the children.
Yep.
And she's
exactly
like,
that, yeah.
holy shit, this is more than I bargained for. But at the same time, you see that she is dedicated as a character to this, quote unquote role that she is to fulfill. Right. And I think that again,
she fucked up right away with giving the present to the little one. And all the other 3 kids are like, where's my present?
Yeah. Right.
Me and Jeremiah kind of agreed early on that this is going to be a Monster of the Week type episode or a show where every episode you're going to have this new fear that's unlocked and you're going to have to deal with it. And that's pretty much the way that the show is going to go. And now all of a sudden it's kind of flipped on its head as it's becoming an anthology series with historical failures and historical deals that are coming to fruition in the future or in the present, and all of a sudden we're getting a bigger scope of what Widow's Bay is. It's not just a place where odd things happen. It's a place where people struggled and died and made deals to preserve because that's what their whole goal was, only to curse generations in the future. And I think that this is the type of show that just makes me excited to watch shows and movies, is that it captures my imagination.
Well, let's talk about something that I think is really, really crucial, and that is the fog, right? We have the fog. It's mentioned again. The fog plague made a man push his wife's eyes out. So we have that happening again. Oh. And then at the end, and this is the thing that's really, really important, I think, that we need to talk about, is I think it was the doctor's wife, right? Comes to the dock when she is getting on the dinghy boat to escape the island with the kids, and she's like, let me come. And I love that when she says, I don't have any room, I got the kids. And she's like, throw them out and let me come. Right. But then we see that she's got the black eyes, or they're kind of bleeding eyes. I can't really tell because of the light, and she attacks Sarah, who basically fends her off and pushes her into the water. But we have this zombified creature turning these citizens into monsters. So for those of you, I don't know if there's an answer yet or not, because I haven't gotten that far. But I do want to say, Sean, and I'm kind of jumping around, but you're absolutely right. Even with last week's complete meltdown, I thought of quality, this show is one of the very few that makes me want to see the next one. And it's really hard for me not to hit that, continue watching. I'll give you guys another example of a show that I think is really good, but it doesn't make me feel like I want to see another episode. And that's The Bear. I think that The Bear is an extremely well-made show, but damn it, when I finish an episode, I'm like, okay, I'm good for a couple days and I'll come check back in a little bit. It doesn't make me want to binge it. This show makes me want to binge every single episode.
But there are certain shows that make you want to binge and just continue watching, and there's shows that are made for the water cooler. There are shows that are made to take a breath
like this
in
is
between
both.
And osmote about this. Exactly. This show, it threads the needle between both of those, where you can't wait for the next episode, but you also, I need to talk about some shit with people. Like I want to know, what they think, because half of what's fun about television shows, and the possibilities. Brandon's a movie guy, I get that, but I love TV, and the reason why I love TV is because you used to be able to have these existential conversations about where you thought the show was going in between episodes, and that was 80% of the fun of watching the show. Half the fun of embracing these stories is talking about them, and I think this show gives you reason to talk. Jeremiah.
Yeah.
To add what you're saying, each episode so far that we watch on the series, it can fit. It's on its own story. It ties into other parts of each story or each episode.
The bigger picture.
Like I couldn't put two together on this shit here. But what was really interesting that the internet and everyone had this theory is that when they were boating off and everything like that, people kept referring to episode 2 with the end where Tom is looking at that picture, that mirror, where there's a boat of these people on this boat, and there's a person that's in the water, and they were like, oh, that's that story right there, that there's a possibility that someone actually falls off from that boat right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to watch it over again. You want to see whoa, what else did I miss here? Because that's the beauty about this series, is that it leaves you little breadcrumbs here, and then you're like, come back over here, check it out again one more time.
It was a very darker episode than the other ones. I felt like it was a little bit extra darker. So I got the village type.
Yeah.
A little bit like the village type, right? Were you guys scared after, she pretty much unlocked the door and say, leave the door unlocked and let's go ahead and, just go to bed. And so she planned it. And then there was a funny moment there because
Yes, it was
the person
funny.
was standing above her and she's like, that guy, not me, fucker, like that guy.
I laughed hard.
You can almost see him like shrug. You can almost see him like shrug and then
he
move
brought
around
down,
the
like,
bed.
oh, okay. And then he ended up getting he got the shit beat out of him. Just he stabbed him and the fucking guy doesn't die. I was like, oh shit.
I laughed so hard.
I laughed so hard and I was scared at the same time.
As we
God.
progress in the show, one of the things that I think is most unique about this particular show is that at points it feels like it knows it's in a horror movie or knows it's in a horror show, and it doesn't want to be in the horror show. So something happens, and the characters are exasperated by the fact that they're being faced with these horror tropes, and they want to diverge from the horror tropes. Like, the character knows that they're in this like horror trope, right? And they're like, nah, I'm just gonna kind of like, I'm going to change it up a little bit and try to get out of the trope. It's the same thing like in the last episode, or episode 4, when she realized that she was being controlled by the grimoire, the book, or whatever we want to call it. And she's exasperated because she can't get the people out of the water and she can't solve it. And they're just going in and she's like, oh, fuck, man, just get them out of the, she's going crazy because she can't get them out of the water and like solve her problem because she knows she's in a horror show. Like, she knows that they should be going into the water with these blank eyes.
She knows something's bad on the island. She wants to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
It's like it's a reaction like how we would react there, right? I mean, that's just how we would react.
Right.
I mean, they were like, what about your children? You're like, well, they're not my really children,
Bro, they're only my children like for a week. Like, I'm not really connected to them.
I'm not connected with them, Like, get me the fuck out of here. And I think that's the funniest thing, where it knows it's in a horror TV show, but it also has like this realistic vibe to it that you can see yourself into that situation. You're like, yeah, it's the same way how I would probably react to it.
I
Maybe.
cracked up so much when she was like,
Exactly.
like, that guy, not me. Like, I'm fucking like.
That brings us to the end of review. Now, Eddie, also known as Richard the Dick, can you please provide our scale so each of us
He cleans up his mess every night. He also cleans his mess. The body's gone. It's so fucking gone. All right. 0, the perfect episode. 1, a feel-good first cocktail. 2, a happy buzz. 3, you're gonna Uber lifting home. 4, rough morning walk of shame. 5, blackout shit-faced spring break drunk.
Attaboy.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. Okay.
I'll go start if you guys want.
Go ahead.
I'll be that guy. I'm always
Brandon.
that guy.
Yeah, start us off.
Yeah. So listen, I honestly don't. I think I said this last week. I don't know what I actually think of this show because I'm so bipolar with it. It is, I think, at the exact same time, absolutely brilliant. And I'm not going to say groundbreaking. I'll save that word for Jeremiah. But a brilliant show that is, like you said, Sean, very, very self-aware, very, very metafictional. That is breaking the fourth wall without breaking the fourth wall. And yet at the same time, I feel like it's kind of clunky at times. It's kind of a show that isn't as smooth as it maybe could be. And the weird thing is that it is so episode by episode. I really think that the overall story, or the overall mystery, we'll put it that way, is really cool, right? And the overall mystery is the big question of like, what's actually going on? What is the town or the island? What is the curse? There's a lot of other stuff going on here. And I think it's interesting that you have in episode 4, what I would consider a perfect episode. And I consider a perfect episode different than a perfect movie. A perfect movie, like it's flawless, right? To the point where, there might be a couple of little mistakes here and there, but at the same time, if I'm going to pick that out, then that's just being too picky. For a perfect episode, I would say that I'm looking at it and we're talking about kind of negatives, and I really have nothing to offer. I think that it's just a really well-made, well-acted, well-written episode. And I thought that was with episode 4. And then we got to episode 5, which I thought just kind of compiled as many mistakes and issues as possibly could be into one episode. And then we come back off of episode 5 to get to episode 6. And I'm just going to say it quick. It's a 0. I think it's an absolutely perfect episode. The fact that they had the balls to go back in time 250 years or 300 years, the fact that they not only had the balls to do that, but the fact that they were able to tie in so much, and Jeremiah, you're going to love this, so much of the mythos of the island that we've got, from the painting to the diary journal entry to the chair, which we didn't talk about, but we find out at the end of the first episode, we have that pan down to the chair that's just sitting there in this vacant room. We have that referenced here. We get to see where the chair is, which is kind of in this catacombs cellar thing underneath the Warren household. I mean, it is scary, sure. It is funny, sure. But more than anything, it's just a well-made story. And I think that it's really hard for me to sit there and say, ooh, I didn't like this, or they could have done this. So this is a straight up 0 for me. With that, we're going to go from one extreme to somebody who apparently hates this episode, and that's going to be Mushrooms, also known as Sean.
So, yeah. Apparently I hated this episode. I'm thinking, man, I'm really on point with this episode. It's a really good episode. It gives us a plot. I mean, I'm really excited about it. But
like a 0.
I do think that I have grown a little cynical. I've grown a little cynical about giving out my zeros and really creating kind of a context to my scoring process. And I think that I might be a little hard, but I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that later. There becomes a moment when you stop comparing a show to other shows and you start talking about a show on its own right. And thus far, this show has it has taken on a lot of the themes of Stephen King. It's taken a lot of the themes of the horror movies of Eggers, of the creators that we know and love in the past. And, like Eddie said, Lost, I do think it has a huge impact on this show. But what this show is starting to do is starting to create a mythos of its own that is unique and unlike anything else. And I think that is a successful move. And with that, this episode creates a history of a place and a show that is both intriguing and I want to know more. I want 5 more episodes. I want 10 more episodes of what happened back in the time. Like Jeremiah said, I could see a total offshoot of this, Widow's Bay 1742. Like I could see that whole period of time being played
Yellowstone.
out. Yeah, like Yellowstone, like 19. Yeah. Anyway. So for that, I think this show is creating a mythos of its own and really being wonderful. With that, I do think this episode still had some drawbacks. I think it was really slow. This episode did not give me what I wanted in the timing. I'm sorry. I know it was a little slow. I apologize.
It's all good.
So I still think I'm giving it a great score of 1.5, which is a feel good first cocktail with a shot, right? Mm-hmm. Feel good first cocktail with a shot at 1.5. And I will say this episode particularly is fantastic. It's a very good, very, very good episode. So let's kick it over to Jeremiah with Todd. Tell us what's going on.
I think this episode was unique in a lot of ways because you don't really get this type of an episode like right in the mid of the season. It's usually probably the 8th or 9th or 10th of the episode where you're just like, okay, we get like kind of a origin story. The shift everything from what you were going to go into this kind of period horror setting is unbelievable. I think the actors were fantastic. You got so much information in this backstory of this episode, which I really appreciated because now moving forward, we have an understanding what is kind of happening, but yet they didn't really provide all the details. This is one of those series that I just keep getting like brought into, and I appreciated that I get to watch this episode or this season, this series every single week with a new episode. It's not, and you're not able to binge it or anything like that. You want to see the next episode. You can't wait for it. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm excited for the rest of the season. This was kind of a really like one of those episodes you're just like, fuck. Okay, what else are you gonna do here, man? So I'm all for it, man. So half a shot for me. I'm having good drinks here, man. Half a shot, Eddie.
I miss the amount of episodes that a good series had. Like now we're just so used to like 10 episodes is it for season 1. And I get so sad. Like I'm like, because this Widow's Bay has enough storyline on this fucking island to be like, bro, every episode should be a different story. Like create something. There's so many different stories here. You have the right writers in the room, it seems like. You have the right actors. And it seems like I just wanted more. So the idea of me thinking that, of like, bro, I'm so intrigued with the next episode now. I definitely was enjoyed with all of it. I was sitting in the village and I was laughing, and then I was scared shitless with this Richard guy who looked like he was 7'2" to his wife. I was scared. And at the same time, you got the idea at the very end of it. It was like, oh shit, is he really a bad guy or is he not the bad guy? Is he just protecting the island, protecting the people on the island? So that put a cool vibe of the story, and it gave more depth to the story. And then it made me appreciate episode 5 a little bit more of like, okay, like I see the connection a little bit here. I give this very close to what Todd gave Jeremiah. I give this a 0.30. This is a half a shot. It's a bid shot, a half a bid shot. So I'm not a full shot because I don't like to take full shots because I'm old now. So this is a half of shot, 0.30.
When we see each other again, Ed, in person, we will do shots together.
Okay, when we take those 4 episodes or 4 scores and divide them by 4, what does episode 6 get an average rating of? By the way, just so you know, Brandon, because we're calling you out on everything that you do wrong. Episode 6 gets an average rating of what?
Ooh, somebody forgot to update the Word document.
Motherfucker, I hate me.
a 0.5125.
What's 6?
It gives us a 0.5125.
Episode 6 get an average rating.
Is this episode 4?
It doesn't. You're on the wrong script, Sean.
I might be on the wrong script. I was realizing that. No. I'm sorry. Okay. So 0. Well, I'm sorry, Eddie. One more time.
Dude.
0. What is it?
That was pretty embarrassing. That was
Remember
pretty
that time
embarrassing.
you called me out?
I'm such an asshole. I'm such an asshole.
Jeremiah, I want you to keep that in. Do not edit that out. Don't edit that out. That's got to stay in there
Eddie,
and be immortalized in our
what
time
is the
capsule.
score for episode 6?
Yeah, now I'm looking to see. I'm making sure I'm on the right episode. Fuck, bro. Okay, episode 6 gives us a 0.5125.
0.5125. Jeremiah, which okay, let's do you want to guess or yeah, okay, so Eddie says it's number 2. Jeremiah.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Okay. Jeremiah, where are we at?
It's the second best episode of the series. Yes, it's number 2.
So, okay, hold on. We've got a new score. We've got an updated series average. What is our updated series average? Because it has to have gone down into a better place.
Before we actually rated this episode, our series average was at a 1.398. Now we're at a series average at a 1.250.
Oh.
1.25. So now we're at 1.25, which is, I mean that's barely a feel good first cocktail with an extra shot. So half a shot. So
we're pretty much where we're at. Yeah.
It's gonna go back up. Some of us don't like episode 7, so it's gonna go back up.
Well, you can once again, Eddie. We're not on episode 7. We're on episode 6. So you can just fuck off. All right. We're excited to bring you another season of 3.5 Gentlemen. Season 7, we're making a concerted effort to grow our social media pages on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Threads. So you could please like and subscribe and find us at the Gentleman Podcast. The dot means a lot, the Gentleman Podcast. So take a look at our past episodes and tell your friends. Tell 10 people in your life about our podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week with Season 1, Episode 7 of Widow's Bay.
Which is on the script, just so you know.
Yep. 7.
Cheers, folks.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Cheers, yeah. That was funny.